Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ritter, here kicking it with head football coach Isaac Collins, and we got a great show lined up for you today as we're coming off a huge win this past Saturday at Senior Day where we knocked off the second-ranked team in the conference. We'll be bringing on the players of the game from that big win, along with our special guest coach of the day who will be joining us as well. Coach Collins, how you doing today? Season's really flying by, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. Seemed like yesterday we were checking in for preseason camp.
It really does, Coach. It really does. Now, it was a huge 41-21 win on Senior Day this past Saturday at Wilkes. The last two previous weeks, we lost games by a combined 12 points, and we let them slip out of our hands. But Saturday was a different story as we limited the mistakes. How great was it to see our football team play our type of football for 4 solid quarters?
Well, I think anytime you're kind of going through the building process of being a championship team, you get to this point in the season and you're hoping that it's going to happen, that you're not going to have to say wait till next year, and I think going into the game, guys prepared the way they needed to, and it showed up on Saturday.
Now, before we get into the highlights from Saturday, I want to introduce our special guest coach that we have with us today. He's arguably one of the more popular guys on the coaching staff. Coach Mark Fetterman, first-year assistant head coach and defensive line coach, as well as our strength and conditioning coach. Coach, how you doing today?
Very good.
You excited?
Thanks for having me on the show.
You excited to be here?
I'm excited for this week.
Now, Coach, you come to Widener University after coaching collegiate football at Lehigh University. Talk about some of the things that you've taught the defensive line this season.
Well, just technically, I'm one for being technically sound and everything. The kids know that. The guys know I'm very much a perfectionist when it comes to technique, and when we try to work the same things day after day, week after week, and get really good at them instead of working a lot of different things, we work a small group of things and try to get good at it.
Now, not only do you coach the defensive line, as I said, but you are a strength and conditioning coach as well. Can you tell some of the people at home about our in-season workout and what you're trying to do with us guys to help us keep our strength and maintain our speed throughout the season without going too hard, of course?
Yeah, we try to cut down the intensity a little bit and the volume of what you're doing, but still try to keep a high level. We don't want to try to maintain, we want to get slight gains throughout the season. So I think right now, just being in the weight room the last couple of weeks, our strength, a lot of guys, especially the young guys, have made almost maximal gains, okay, especially in the last couple of weeks. And I think it's helped us, especially in the second half of games.
Most definitely. You can see that especially with our endurance throughout the season as well. Coach, what's been your favorite thing since coaching here at Widener this year?
I just really enjoy the place itself, and I really enjoy coaching the guys I work with on a daily basis, the D-line. There's a lot of good personalities there. Keeps me, sometimes when things aren't going so good, the kids get me to laugh and keep me motivated and keep me going. But I just like working the group of guys I have right now.
Most definitely. Now, we have a couple questions here for some anonymous people that came in for you. First question, how many boxes of donuts have you bought for the coaching staff this past season?
Few. I think I still owe a few more. But, yeah, I've eaten a few, too, as well.
You've eaten a few? Also, one other question. What was your nickname at Lehigh University?
My nickname?
Uh-oh.
They just call me Coach Fett. I don't
Just
know.
Coach Fett?
Unless the kids had some other name, I'm sure they called me. But
I'll have to bring this up with one of the coaches that asked me to ask you that. I don't know. But, hey, my last question for you today is, who's your favorite coach on the staff here and why? And you can't pick Coach Collins.
Well, I've known him the longest, okay, and Coach Eager would probably be second in line. Very intense guy like myself, and just enjoy being around him.
If you had to go out and party with one of them, who would you pick? He's picking Coach Eager? He seems like to be a wild guy.
I think Coach Eager and I would get along going out, for one night away from the wives would be okay.
Coach Fett, we appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you very much, Rick.
Taking the time to join us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. We'll see if we can get into these highlights from Saturday, from our big win against Wilkes at Senior Day, see if we can get these up and rolling. Coach, the defense came out strong, and you could tell they were ready to play at home in front of our crowd. They were flying around all day, getting pressure on the quarterback constantly. Shane Zumsky, John Natter, and Chad Gavernese all recording sacks in Saturday's game. Coach, talk about how great of a job Coach Fetterman has done with this defensive line and why they are having the success that they are.
Well, I think it's amazing, especially when you consider a few of those guys, moved from linebacker to defensive line, a position that, requires a lot of technique. It's a little bit different than and a lot of places I've been, guys don't take to it as fast as our guys have. So certainly it's been exciting watching them during the course of the season just continue to get better every single week.
And those guys have great relationships with Coach Fetterman, which really helps as well. Now, the linebackers were laying the wood all day as Joe Favinger led the way with 7 tackles, including a huge one for a loss. But freshman Dylan Dittmer showed why he's a true freshman coach, making a huge play on Saturday. Dylan intercepted his first career pass and then showed his athleticism as he jetted in for a touchdown and also recovered a fumble in the game. Coach, it's got to get you excited when you see a kid like Dylan learning from the older linebackers on the team and really showing what he's capable of doing.
He's made huge strides, as a lot of our young football players on this team have done during the course of the season. And just watching him grow up on Saturday and play with such confidence, and I think a lot of it had to do with the guys that he's been with, you know, those senior linebackers that have been around that have really kind of taken them under his wing and done a great job of getting him ready to be able to perform like he did on Saturday.
Now, the offense came up strong again this game, moving the ball up and down the field, led by 2 quarterbacks, Tevin Campbell and Chris Hopp, as both split time throughout the game. Offense as a total finished with 25 first downs, 262 yards rushing, and 207 yards passing. That's 469 yards of total offense, as we also went 4 for 5 in the red zone on the day. Coach Eager has us playing with some serious confidence right now, and you know he's been putting us in great situations to make plays. Talk about how great of a job he's done his first year maintaining this offense.
He's done an outstanding job. I knew from the time that I interviewed him to having him get stuck here in Chester with the big snowstorm that we had back this winter. I knew he was the right guy for the job. He brings the intensity and the knowledge that we need to be successful, and he's done a phenomenal job of forming our offensive line up and really just kind of keeping guys at it. I mean, obviously we didn't have the success we wanted early on, but as we talked about it on the show, we knew we were going to get better, and it's nice to see us finally start to hit stride a little bit.
It seems like every time that we get a big win this year, the special teams plays a huge part in that. And once again, freshman Laquan Robinson showed how dangerous he can be as he returned an 87-yard kick return to the house. And Coach, when he's not returning to the house, he's putting the offense in great field position to start off drives. And I know as an offense, we love starting on the 40-yard line rather than starting at our own 20. He's done that so many times this year, but how special of a player is he as he's a Rookie of the Year candidate?
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, we knew when we recruited him that he was something special, and there's no doubt that just watching him over the course of the season, that lightning in a bottle, as we call him, we know that he can do some dynamic things, and it's really neat to watch him over the course of the season display those skills that he has.
Now, can you touch on a little bit with our quarterback situation? We have sophomore Chris Hopp and freshman Tevin Campbell in there, both playing kind of like a 2-headed monster. Talk about how we're comfortable with both of them being in there and both of their ability to make big plays.
Well, I think they bring different things to the table. I mean, Chris has an extremely strong arm. He can put the ball in some places that a lot of quarterbacks can't, and obviously Tevin adds that dimension of being able to create things with his legs as well as move around the pocket and make some things happen on throws like he did on Saturday.
Now, Tevin and Chris, both young guys, we really got to be excited for the young guys and for the future of this program, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. When you're young at quarterback and you're having some success, there's no better feeling as a head coach.
Now, joining us today are our players of the game from Saturday. I got senior offensive lineman Harry Reynolds with us today, freshman cornerback / returner Laquan Robinson, and freshman linebacker Dylan Dittmer. All 3 of them were jumping up and down in the room a couple minutes ago as they were excited to get on the show today. Guys, how you doing? We appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Thanks for having us, Rick.
Harry, we're going to start with you. It was senior day on Saturday. Can you talk about how important that was for us to get a win and with the meaning of that?
It always means a lot when you can go out on your final home game, get a win. It's really special. It means a lot to me. I'm sure it meant a lot to you and all the seniors out there. So it was nice to get to go out there and finish it off the right way.
Now, as I said earlier, we had 262 yards rushing on Saturday. This offensive line has really come a long way from the start of the season. Talk about how Coach Eager has you guys playing at such a high level right now.
Well, the offensive line, you have 5 individuals that have to come together and form a cohesive unit, and so it takes some time, I think, this year to really get that rolling. Coach Eager's always out there, fired up as always, as Coach Fett said, and he's always got practice at a high tempo, and I think that really helps us, especially later in games, keeps us in shape, ready to roll.
Practicing at a high tempo definitely does pay off. Now, individually, Harry, as a tackle, you've allowed 1 sack all season, which is absolutely phenomenal. And this week we go against one of the nation's top defenses in Delaware Valley. Talk about how much winning the Keystone Cup means to this team.
It means the world to myself, and I'm sure to the rest of the guys on the team. I'm really excited for Saturday. All I want to do is go out and bring that Keystone Cup back to Chester.
I hear you on that, Harry. Now, moving along to Laquan Robinson sitting over there. He's got his nice glasses all dressed up, got a fresh haircut for the show today. Laquan, you had a huge return on Saturday. And, with the guys opening up holes on special teams for you and making big blocks to spring you free, before we talk about you on defense, talk about your role with special teams and how great of a job Coach Mrzinski's doing with you guys.
It starts with Coach Brzezinski. Coach Brzezinski get the guys to where they need to be and the block that they need to make for me to be able to run for a touchdown here and there. So it starts with Coach Brzezinski.
Now, Laquan, playing defensive back, you get a chance to learn from Coach Roosevelt Williams. Can you touch on some of the things that you've learned from an experienced guy like him this season?
Just to be humble and play with no head. Cut it off.
What are some of the fun things that he talks to you about? You guys got a pretty solid relationship going on.
Just talk about how his past and the things he did. That's what keep me intact and focused on the field. Just know that I can have fun.
Now, Laquan, it's obvious that you're a candidate for MAC Rookie of the Year this season with 3 special teams touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Talk about the energy and competition that you try and bring to the field every day, because I know as a receiver going up against you as cornerback, you're always high energy and high intensity.
I don't know. I always had a lot of energy since I was a kid, so I just like to keep it with me all the time. I like to be happy. I never try to be down, so I like to be up and just ready for anything.
All right, let's move it on to Dylan Dittmer down there, who's sitting there. He's waiting for him to get on the show. Dylan, you had a big day on Saturday as well, recovering a fumble and returning the interception to the house. How did it feel to be out there and make a huge impact in such a big win?
It was a great feeling, especially because I scored my first touchdown, and it really helped put the game away. Because Coach Collins talked about the fourth quarter comeback team that Wilkes was, and it was also really exciting to help the seniors come up with a big win.
Most definitely, and you did come up big. Now, we had sophomore linebacker Joe Woj on here a couple weeks ago, and he talked about how important it was to get a chance to learn from some of the older linebackers. Can you touch on that as well?
Yeah, our relationship with the older linebackers is great. I mean, Joe Fav, John Natter, Joe Cal, Jamal Dorsey, and Wojo, of course, they all helped me a lot throughout the season. They've really put me under their wing and just helped me play at a higher level and not so much as a freshman.
That's definitely good to hear. And our linebackers have been playing great together all season. How has Coach Collins' defense been putting you guys in situations to go out there and make big plays in the game?
Our defense is great. It just puts us in a position where we have to help each other out to make the play, and once you're in the position to make the play, you have to go and get it.
Most definitely, and it showed the past couple games without a doubt. Guys, each of you, who's your favorite coach on the staff and why? Let's start with you, Harry.
I'm going to say it's a toss-up between Coach Eager and Coach Jenkins. Eager because he controls my playing time, and because he's been putting the offenses it's in the right spots all year. And Coach Jenkins because he's out there all the time getting the younger guys fired up, ready to help us win by helping us practice.
Laquan Robinson, how about you?
By far, Coach Williams, obviously. Gotta be.
Not Coach Schoenleber? I heard you talking about him as a possible candidate in there.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. How about you, Dylan?
I'm going to have to say Coach Fetterman. He brings a lot of knowledge and enthusiasm to the game, and he also coached me at high school for 3 years. He brought me to Widener.
I hear you guys. We appreciate all of you coming on and taking the time to join us today. It was a lot of fun, and let's go get it this Saturday, Keystone Cup. All right, guys?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you, Rick.
Now, Coach, hands down, this is the biggest game coming up this Saturday of the regular season. We've had this one on our mind since last year when the game was real scrappy. Delaware Valley, 8th-ranked team in the nation. How important is it to not only win this game, but get the Keystone Cup and finish the season strong and carry some momentum in the next season?
Well, they've won, 6 of the last 7, so that's where you start. They've dominated the series as of late. We dominated it before that. And I think right now, as you look at our football team, we've been dying to have an opportunity to be a part of a playoff atmosphere. We're going against, arguably the best team in this region, certainly the best team in our conference, and I think we just kind of cut everything loose and go out and play our type of football game, and let's see where we're at the end of the game. I mean, it really is an exciting time, I think, for our football team to come off of a big win and then an opportunity to go into Del Val's home where they got a lot at stake and have an opportunity to knock them off would be tremendous for this football program, tremendous for recruiting, and certainly would set the young kids up for the future.
Well, there's no doubt we know the meaning of this game, and everybody wants to get that Keystone Cup and bring it back here to campus. Make sure you tune in to WidenerPride.com this Saturday as the final game of the regular season will take place. Look for live stats and live audio throughout the game. That's 1 o'clock this Saturday as the Widener Pride will travel to Delaware Valley with a MAC showdown for the Keystone Cup. For Coach Collins, Harry Reynolds, Laquan Robinson, Dylan Dittmer, and Coach Fetterman, we thank everybody for joining us today, and we'll catch you guys next week on Kicking It with Coach. All right? Thanks a lot, guys.